I want you to close your eyes for a second and picture yourself, not the version you're proud of, not the one who shows up on the good days, but the version you hide from. The one who makes excuses, the one who whispers, maybe tomorrow when today is screaming for action. That version of you, it's weak, it's soft, it's holding you hostage. Now imagine standing in front of a mirror and realizing something brutal. That weak version isn't just a part of you, it's been running your life. Every missed opportunity, every failed promise to yourself, every moment you felt stuck, that was it, steering the wheel. And the worst part, you've been letting it live far too long. But here's the question you need to face right now. Are you going to keep letting it control you, or are you ready to kill it? Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Right here, right now. Because nothing changes until you decide that weakness has no home inside of you. I'm not here to coddle you. I'm here to shock you awake. To make you see the chains you've been carrying. And to show you that the only way forward, the only way to become unstoppable, is to crush that weak version of yourself completely. If you stay seated, comfortable, and safe, nothing will change. But if you dare to lean in, to stare your weakness in the face, something incredible happens. A spark ignites. And once that spark turns into fire, there is no turning back. So the question isn't whether you can change. The question is, do you have the courage to kill the weak version of yourself and finally step into the life you were meant to live? Take a moment and be brutally honest with yourself. Not the version of you that smiles for social media, not the version that looks confident when the world is watching. I'm talking about the version that hides when no one is looking. That version of you that settles for comfort, that whispers excuses into your own ear, that convinces you that you're good enough when you're standing at the edge of what you could truly be. That is your weak version, and it's been running your life far longer than you realize. The weak version of you is subtle. It doesn't come screaming through the door and demand attention. No, it creeps in quietly, disguised as comfort. It tells you, don't push too hard, don't rock the boat, don't fail. It hides behind your fears, your doubts, and your habits of procrastination. It convinces you that staying in your safe zone is not weakness, it's survival. But let me tell you something, that so-called safe zone is a prison, and every moment you stay there, that weak version of yourself grows stronger, while the stronger, bolder, more capable version of you starves. You need to understand that weakness is not just about physical frailty. It's not just about skipping the gym or eating poorly or letting your body deteriorate. It's deeper. It's mental. It's emotional. It's the way you talk to yourself when no one else is listening. The way you avoid responsibility because it feels easier. The way you blame circumstances, people, or the world for the position you're in. That is weakness, and it is eating away at your potential every single day. Think about the times you've made a choice out of fear. Maybe you didn't speak up when you should have. Maybe you didn't take a chance because it was too risky. Maybe you stayed silent, avoided confrontation, or gave up on a dream because the path looked too difficult. That hesitation, that self-doubt, that is your weak version talking. And the more you listen, the louder it gets. It's a parasite that feeds on your inaction. Weakness is comfortable, it feels safe, and that is exactly why it's so dangerous. Every time you settle for good enough, every time you let a small fear dictate your actions, that weak version grows a little stronger. It embeds itself deeper into your habits, your routines, your thoughts, and soon what once felt like a temporary setback becomes a lifestyle. Mediocrity becomes your default setting, and that is a tragedy. But recognizing your weak version is the first step toward killing it. And recognition requires brutal honesty. It requires looking in the mirror and saying things you don't want to say about yourself. You have to confront the habits you've justified for years. The excuses you've wrapped around yourself like a blanket to stay warm in your own comfort. The lies you tell yourself to feel better about standing still. It's uncomfortable. It's painful. But it's necessary. Ask yourself the hard questions. When was the last time you pushed yourself to the point of discomfort and came out stronger? When was the last time you said no to something easy so that you could say yes to something extraordinary? When was the last time you stared fear in the face and acted anyway? The weak version of you will dodge these questions. It will try to rationalize. It will try to explain why now is not the right time. It will whisper that you'll start tomorrow, next week, next month. But every second you listen, that weak version grows fatter, stronger, and more entrenched. You need to make it impossible to ignore. You need to shine a light on it, expose it, and see it for exactly what it is, a version of yourself that is not allowed to live any longer. Write down your excuses. Write down every single habit that has held you back. Write down every fear, every moment of hesitation, every opportunity you didn't seize because you were scared, lazy, or comfortable. When you see it all laid out, it becomes undeniable. Weakness is not vague, it is real. It is tangible, and it is ready to be destroyed. Understand this, the weak version of yourself has one goal: to keep you small, to keep you average, to make you believe that your potential is impossible to reach. But you are capable of more. You have the ability to do things that scare you, that challenge you, that make you stronger, wiser, and more resilient. And recognizing the weak version is the first step to taking back control. Because once you know who you are when you're weak, you can begin to replace that version with something better, something unstoppable. This isn't about shame. This isn't about guilt. It's about clarity. The weak version is not a permanent part of you. Of you, it is temporary. It is a mask you've worn for comfort, for fear, for avoidance. And now it's time to tear that mask off. Look it square in the face. Name it. Call it out. Because once you see it for what it is, you can act. And action is where transformation begins. So stop pretending. Stop hiding behind excuses. Stop believing that just showing up is enough. Recognize the weak version of yourself. Name it. Expose it. Understand it. Because until you do, it will continue to dictate your life, your choices, and your future. And the truth is simple. If you want to live a life that is extraordinary, if you want to reach the heights you are capable of, you must first confront the part of you that is weak, and then you must be willing to kill it. The weak version of you doesn't get to decide your future. You do. And that choice starts with recognition. Look at yourself honestly. Feel the discomfort. Accept it. And prepare to do the work that no one else will do. Because that weak version of yourself is not your destiny. Your destiny belongs to the version of you that refuses to settle, that refuses to compromise, that refuses to remain small. And once you recognize who you've been, the battle to become who you're meant to be can finally begin. Let me be brutally honest with you. Weakness comes with a price. And it's not just a small fee you can pay and forget. It's a debt that compounds every single day you allow it to live inside of you. It robs you quietly, insidiously, from the very core of who you are, and by the time you realize it, the damage is staggering. Every decision you make from a place of fear, hesitation, or laziness is a withdrawal from your potential. Every time you choose comfort over courage, convenience over challenge, you're cashing a check your future self will have to pay, and the interest is painful. Think about it for a second. How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers because the weak version of you told you, it's not the right time, or I'm not ready, or someone else will do it? Those moments are gone forever. No amount of wishing, no amount of hoping, no amount of blaming the world will bring them back. And with each one that passes, your life inches closer to mediocrity. You start believing that this is the best you can do, that this is all life has to offer, that the version of yourself who dreams big is just naive. And it doesn't stop there. Weakness isn't just about missed opportunities. It's about what it does to your spirit, to your confidence, and to the people around you. When you allow weakness to dictate your actions, you're teaching your mind to settle. You're telling your body to accept stagnation. You're showing the world that your potential is negotiable. And the most dangerous part? You begin to internalize it. You start believing the lies that have held you hostage for years. I can't. I'm not enough. This is as good as it gets. But here's the truth, and it's harsh. That weak version of you is expensive, not just in opportunities, not just in self-respect, not just in dreams left unfulfilled, but in life itself. Relationships suffer. Friendships fade when you can't show up fully. Love suffers when you cannot rise to the challenge of vulnerability and strength. Careers stall when hesitation takes the place of action. Every day you stay small, every day you let fear write your story, you chip away at the life you were meant to live. You settle for scraps while greatness waits just beyond the edge of your comfort zone. Have you ever noticed how people who refuse to confront their weakness often blame others for their pain? They blame the system, their upbringing, their boss, their circumstances. And yes, life can be hard, but weakness magnifies every obstacle. A strong person sees difficulty and responds. A weak person sees difficulty and folds. A strong person turns barriers into stepping stones. A weak person uses barriers as excuses to stop. Weakness does not just take away, it amplifies the cost of everything around you. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall between you and your dreams. Every fear you don't confront is a chain wrapped tighter around your potential. And here's the cruelest part: the cost of weakness doesn't just hit you today. It compounds over time. Small compromises today lead to larger compromises tomorrow. I'll start next week, or I can't do it yet accumulates. Before you know it, 10, 20, 30 years pass, and you're looking back at a life half-lived. The regret is enormous because it isn't about one single failure. It's about a lifetime of choices that all favored safety over growth, comfort over challenge, hesitation over action. Weakness is expensive in ways you can't even see at first. You might think it's harmless to avoid the hard work, to settle for what's easy, to procrastinate another day, but slowly, almost imperceptibly, it erodes your confidence, it erodes your resilience, it erodes your ability to even try, and the longer you allow it to live, the harder it is to shake. The weak version of you becomes a habit, a default setting, a shadow that follows you, whispering every time you even think about being great. You're not ready. You're not capable. And yet, here's the challenge: you have a choice. Every cost, every consequence, every moment of regret exists because weakness is alive inside of you. But if you face it, if you refuse to let it run your life, if you are willing to stare the price in the face and pay it in sweat, discipline, and relentless action instead, you begin to reclaim everything it has stolen. The cost of weakness can become the fuel for your strength. The very thing that tries to destroy you can become the reason you rise. Imagine for a moment the alternative. What happens if you continue letting that weak version of yourself dictate your life? 10 years from now, where will you be? Will you be looking in the mirror with pride, knowing you fought for your potential, or with regret, knowing you let fear, comfort, and excuses decide your fate? The cost of weakness is not hypothetical. It is real, and it is always coming due. You cannot avoid it, and you cannot negotiate it. It will take from you whether you are ready or not. The only question is whether you will allow it to take your dreams and your life, or whether you will fight and finally rise above it. So understand this fully. Weakness is not just inconvenient. It is catastrophic. It is the silent thief of your time, your opportunities, your confidence, your relationships, and your destiny. And you must be willing to pay the price of confronting it now. The sooner you see it for what it is, the sooner you can act, the sooner you can reclaim your power, your potential, and your life. Every day you wait is a day you pay interest on the debt of inaction. Every moment you hesitate is another opportunity lost. Every time you choose fear over courage, you make the cost of weakness even higher. And the truth is simple: the cost of weakness is unbearable for anyone who dreams of living a full, extraordinary life. The only way to escape it is to kill that weak version of yourself completely, to refuse to let it dictate your choices, to stare it down and take radical ownership of your life. The moment you understand the price of weakness is the moment you begin to break its chains. And once you do, everything changes. Every opportunity becomes reachable. Every challenge becomes conquerable. Every dream becomes inevitable, because the cost of weakness is high, but the reward for killing it is infinite. The moment you understand the cost of weakness, the next truth hits you like a punch to the gut. No one else is coming to save you. No mentor, no friend, no system, no government. No circumstance is going to magically hand you the life you dream of. That weak version of yourself has survived by shifting blame, by pointing fingers, by hoping the world would fix its mistakes for it. But here's the brutal reality: if you continue letting life happen to you, if you continue waiting for someone else to take control, you will never be free. The only way out is through radical ownership. Radical ownership is not just taking responsibility. It's not a vague concept you read about in a book and forget. It's an all-consuming, relentless demand that you call yourself out for everything. No excuses, no exceptions, no delays. It is staring in the mirror and saying, everything that is wrong with my life right now, that is on me. Every failure, every shortcoming, every opportunity you didn't seize, every dream you abandoned, every bad habit, every hesitation, every weak choice, it's yours. And here's the key: once you claim it fully, you gain the power to change it. Because the truth is, this blame is a trap. Excuses are chains. Waiting for the world to fix what you broke is a lifetime sentence. But radical ownership gives you a weapon no one can take away. It gives you clarity. It gives you freedom. When you take ownership of your thoughts, your actions, and your results, you stop being a victim. You stop waiting for luck, chance, or permission. You become the architect of your life, the commander of your destiny, the person who decides that no circumstance, no person, no fear, no failure will dictate who you are. And radical ownership is uncomfortable. It will hurt. It will burn. Because the weak version of you has spent years hiding behind excuses. And when you strip them away, you are left exposed. You are left facing yourself. You are left with the truth that your comfort, your fear, your hesitation, and your avoidance are the only things standing between you and the life you want. And that truth, it's a weapon. It cuts deep because it is real. And it is only when you feel that cut fully that you understand what it means to take control. Start with the small things. Look at your day-to-day life. Every time you procrastinate, you must own it. Every time you give up, you must own it. Every time you complain, you must own it. Every time you blame someone else, you must own it. And then escalate. Every time you fail to pursue a goal, you must own it. Every time you hold back from speaking your truth, expressing your talent, or taking a risk, you must own it. Radical ownership is total accountability across every aspect of your life for everything you can control. This is where transformation begins. Because the moment you stop blaming, the moment you stop pointing fingers, the moment you stop hoping for someone else to fix your life, everything changes. You see the world clearly. You see your obstacles clearly. You see your weaknesses clearly. And most importantly, you see your power. There is nothing outside of you that can prevent you from becoming the person you are meant to be, except the choices you make. And when you take radical ownership, you stop making excuses and start making results. Radical ownership is not easy, and it is not for the faint of heart. It demands discipline. It demands courage. It demands relentless honesty. You have to be willing to look at your failures, your fears, your weaknesses, and your mistakes and say, this is mine and I will fix it. No one else will. No one else can. The world will not pause to give you a second chance, and opportunities will not wait. But you and you alone have the power to take control, to correct your course, to push past fear, and to crush the weak version of yourself once and for all. And here's the power of radical ownership. It transforms weakness into strength. It turns hesitation into action. It converts fear into fuel. When you take full responsibility for your life, something incredible happens. You stop waiting for permission and you start creating. You stop wishing for things to change and you start making things happen. You stop blaming the world for your circumstances and you realize the only circumstance that matters is the one you create for yourself. Every choice, every action, every moment of discipline compounds into power, momentum, and unstoppable forward progress. Radical ownership also breeds resilience. When everything is your responsibility, every obstacle becomes an opportunity. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes a stepping stone. The weak version of you cowers at difficulty. The strong, owning version of you faces it head on, adapts, and grows. When you claim responsibility for your life, no one and nothing can knock you down permanently, because you know that the power to rise again has always been inside of you. But understand this clearly, radical ownership is not a one-time act. It is a lifestyle. It is a daily moment-by-moment commitment to refuse excuses, refuse blame, refuse weakness. It is a promise to yourself that no matter how uncomfortable, how challenging, how terrifying it may feel, you will take responsibility, you will act, you will rise, you will kill the weak version of yourself. Every morning, every decision, every action, every thought must reflect that commitment. Because owning your life is not optional. It is the only path to freedom, to strength, to greatness. So stop hiding. Stop waiting. Stop blaming. Step up. Take radical ownership of your mind, your body, your habits, your actions, your results, and your destiny. The weak version of you may scream, it's too hard. It's not fair. It's not my fault. Ignore it. That weak version has controlled too much of your life already. Claim your life. Claim your power. Claim your potential. And when you do, you will finally understand what it means to be unstoppable, unbreakable, and fully alive. Because nothing and no one can take control of your life as fully as you can when you take radical ownership. You want to kill the weak version of yourself. Then listen carefully. It won't happen in comfort. It won't happen in your soft chair, scrolling your phone, wishing for change. It won't happen in excuses or half measures. It happens in the grind, in the discipline, in the relentless training of every part of who you are, mind, body, and spirit. Weakness survives in stagnation. Strength is forged in relentless action. And the difference between the person you are now and the person you could be is the willingness to endure discomfort, to push past pain, to refuse shortcuts, and to train without compromise. Let's start with the mind. Your mind is a battlefield. Every day, the weak version of you tries to convince you to settle, to stay small, to ignore potential. It whispers that you can't, that it's too hard, that you'll fail, and if you listen, you will lose. Training your mind is not about positive thinking alone. It's about conditioning yourself to face reality without fear, to embrace discomfort without complaint, and to develop mental toughness that refuses to quit when the world pushes back. Mental training is deliberate. It's forcing yourself to learn, to grow, to confront hard truths, to take responsibility for your thoughts and reactions. It's refusing to indulge in self-pity or distraction. It's rewiring your brain so that weakness is unacceptable. Failure is temporary and excellence is inevitable. You train the mind through discipline, through daily rituals that challenge you to think, to act, and to push beyond what feels comfortable. It's waking up before sunrise, even when your body screams to stay in bed. It's reading, learning, and absorbing knowledge when your mind wants rest. It's confronting fears you've avoided for years, questioning your assumptions, and demanding more from yourself than anyone else does. The weak version of you fears discomfort. The strong version embraces it because it knows that every ounce of struggle builds resilience, and resilience is the foundation of strength. The body is the instrument of your will. If your mind commands but your body refuses, you are powerless. Training your body is not just about aesthetics, it's about capability, endurance, and toughness. It's about proving to yourself over and over that you are stronger than your excuses, your laziness, and your doubts. Your body will scream, it will protest, it will beg you to quit, but each time you push through, you send a signal to every cell of your being: weakness is unacceptable. Discipline in physical training carries over into every area of life. The simple act of pushing your body past its perceived limits teaches the mind that limits are illusions, that pain is temporary, and that persistence wins when comfort loses. Physical training is daily, relentless, and non-negotiable. It's choosing action over excuses, consistency over motivation, and growth over stagnation. It's running when your legs ache. It's lifting when your muscles burn. It's sweating through repetition, through discipline, through effort that your weak self would never endure. And each time you do, the weak version of you diminishes a little more, because weakness thrives on inactivity. Strength thrives on action. Every drop of sweat is a deposit in the bank of your future self. Every rep, every mile, every challenge strengthens not only your body, but your resolve, your confidence, and your ability to endure anything life throws at you. But strength is not just mind and body, it's spirit. And spirit is what keeps you standing when everything else has failed. Spirit is the fire inside that refuses to die, even when the world tries to extinguish it. Training the spirit is about cultivating resilience, patience, gratitude, and unwavering self-belief. It's about refusing to let setbacks define you. It's about refusing to let fear control you. It's about living with purpose, with intention, and with a relentless commitment to the highest version of yourself. The weak version of you gives in to despair, doubt, and discouragement. The strong version prays, reflects, meditates, or simply steels itself for the battle, knowing that the mind, body, and spirit must act as one. Training relentlessly is not a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It is waking up every day and demanding more of yourself, even when motivation is absent. It is building habits so ingrained that action becomes automatic, even when you don't feel like it. It is surrounding yourself with challenge, seeking discomfort, and deliberately pursuing situations that stretch your limits. Weakness hides in comfort. Strength thrives in challenge. Every moment you refuse to train, every excuse you make, every short-term pleasure you choose over discipline is a brick in the prison of your weak self. Every effort, every sacrifice, every push beyond the pain chips away at that prison until you are free. And here's the truth: the mind, body, and spirit do not grow in isolation. They feed each other. A disciplined mind reinforces the training of your body. A strong body empowers the mind. A resilient spirit sustains both when the struggle seems endless. Weakness attacks all three. Strength trains all three. If you neglect one, the others falter. To kill the weak version of yourself, you must commit fully, without compromise, to relentless training across every dimension of your being. This relentless training is not glamorous. It is grueling, exhausting, and uncomfortable. It requires consistency, sweat, and tears. But it is also transformative. Each day you push past comfort. Each time you face the pain your weak self would flee from, each moment you refuse to quit, you grow stronger. And strength begets strength. Confidence begets confidence. Discipline begets discipline. And slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the weak version of you fades. The excuses die. The hesitation disappears. The fear loses its power. What remains is a version of yourself that refuses to settle, that refuses to quit, and that refuses to be weak. So train relentlessly. Train your mind until excuses are laughable. Train your body until weakness fears you. Train your spirit until despair has no grip. Do it day in, day out, without shortcuts, without compromise, without mercy, because the weak version of yourself cannot survive in a life built on relentless, total, and uncompromising training. And the moment you commit to that level of discipline, you do more than kill weakness. You create a life defined not by fear, but by power, resilience, and unstoppable potential. Now, after everything we've discussed, the recognition of weakness, the understanding of its cost, the radical ownership, the relentless training, the final truth hits you, all of this, every ounce of sweat, every moment of discipline. Every confrontation with fear leads to one thing: living beyond your weak version. But make no mistake, this is not a casual step. This is not an achievement you stumble into. This is a conscious daily choice. It is deciding with every action that you will not allow the weak version of yourself to dictate your life ever again. It is stepping fully into the power, the potential, and the greatness that has been waiting inside you all along. Living beyond your weak version begins with vision. You cannot escape weakness if you do not know what strength looks like. You must see in your mind the life you are capable of creating, the body, the mind, the character, the results, the relationships, the legacy. Picture it vividly. Imagine the mornings you wake with purpose, the challenges you conquer with confidence, the respect you command because you refuse to settle, the influence you hold because you refuse to quit. That vision is your destination, and every day, every choice, every action must move you closer to it. The weak version of yourself does not have a vision. It drifts, it hesitates, it settles. You will not. Beyond vision, living beyond weakness demands action, massive, consistent, unrelenting action. It is no longer about intention. It is no longer about, I'll start tomorrow or I'll try harder next time. Action is the currency of transformation. The weak version talks itself out of it. The strong version executes without excuse. Every day you must do something that the weak version of you would avoid. You must challenge yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. You must push into discomfort, risk failure, and confront fear directly. This is where the weak version dies and the strong version thrives. But action alone is not enough. You must also cultivate resilience. Life will test you, challenges will come, and failure will find you. No one escapes this. But when you live beyond your weak version, you understand that failure is not the end, it is feedback. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to adapt. The weak version folds under adversity. The strong version rises again and again, stronger than before. Resilience is built in those moments of resistance, in those hours when you feel like giving up but refuse to. It is forged in pain, perseverance, and persistence. And the stronger your resilience, the further beyond weakness you can go. Living beyond your weak version also demands integrity. The weak version cuts corners, seeks shortcuts, compromises values, and justifies behavior that diminishes character. The strong version does not. Every promise kept, every truth spoken, every ethical choice reinforces the foundation of the life you are building. Weakness thrives on deception and compromise. Strength thrives on discipline, honor, and accountability. The life you are capable of is not just about success or results. It is about being the kind of person who can hold themselves to the highest standard, even when no one is watching. Your relationships will change as you live beyond your weak version. People are drawn to strength, commitment, and purpose. The weak version settles for toxic dynamics, tolerates mediocrity in others, and fears confrontation. The strong version demands respect for themselves and from others. You begin to surround yourself with people who elevate you, challenge you, and inspire you. You let go of those who drain you or normalize weakness. And in doing so, you create an environment where growth is inevitable, where your best self can flourish without resistance. Living beyond weakness is also about legacy. Ask yourself, when the dust settles, what mark will you leave on the world? The weak version leaves regrets, what ifs, and untapped potential. The strong version leaves impact, influence, and proof that greatness is possible when fear, hesitation, and excuses are obliterated. Every action you take, every choice you make, contributes to the story of your life. And the story you want is not one of smallness, it is one of courage, persistence, and relentless pursuit of excellence. And perhaps the most powerful truth of living beyond your weak version is this freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from excuses, freedom from limitation. The weak version is a cage built from self-doubt, laziness, and inaction. Every step you take beyond that weak self dismantles the bars. Every habit of discipline, every act of courage, every embrace of discomfort chisels away at the walls until the cage falls entirely. And when it does, what remains is a life that is limitless. A life in which you make the rules. A life in which you refuse to settle. A life in which you become unstoppable. Living beyond your weak version is not a single achievement. It is not a trophy to place on a shelf. It is a daily commitment, a continuous choice, and an unyielding mindset. It requires vigilance because weakness never dies completely. It lurks in moments of comfort, distraction, and fear. You must constantly monitor yourself, recalibrate your habits, and recommit to your highest standards. Every day is an opportunity to reinforce strength, to expand capacity, to outgrow old limitations, and to ascend into the version of yourself you were meant to become. So take all that you have learned, the recognition of weakness, the cost of stagnation, the ownership of your life, the relentless training of mind, body, and spirit, and use it to live beyond what you once thought possible. Do not allow the weak version to return. Do not allow it to influence your decisions or cloud your vision. Step into the life you were designed for with courage, discipline, and relentless action. Push past every limitation, conquer every fear, and embrace the full magnitude of your potential. Because living beyond your weak version is not just a choice, it is a declaration that you refuse to settle. A declaration that you refuse to compromise. A declaration that you are done letting weakness define you. It is a commitment to be extraordinary, to dominate your fears, to master your mind and body, and to create a life of impact, power, and unrelenting purpose. And when you live this way, the weak version of yourself becomes nothing more than a memory, a reminder of the person you once were and the unstoppable force you have now become. Now, everything comes down to this moment, the moment where you decide who controls your life. The weak version of yourself has held you back long enough. It has whispered lies, fed your fear, and stolen your potential. But that version ends today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, right here, right now. The choice is yours. Continue down the path of hesitation, comfort, and mediocrity, or rise with relentless courage, discipline, and purpose. The path of strength is not easy. It will demand everything from you, your time, your energy, your comfort, your excuses, but the rewards are infinite. Every step you take away from weakness is a step toward freedom, toward power, toward the life you were meant to live. Remember this, your weak version does not define you. Your failures do not define you. Your past does not define you. What defines you is what you choose to do in this moment, and in the next moment, and the moment after that. Each choice is a battle, and each battle shapes the warrior you are becoming. Kill that weak version. Tear it out of your life. Refuse to settle for less than your potential. Train relentlessly. Own everything. Face fear without flinching. Build your mind, your body, and your spirit into a force that cannot be stopped. And when the world tests you, and it will, you will stand unshakable, unbreakable, and unstoppable. The weak version of you is gone. The stronger, bolder, fearless version of you has arrived. Step into it fully. Live it relentlessly. And let the life you create be proof that no weakness, no fear, no excuse can ever hold back the person who refuses to surrender. Your time is now. Your life is now. Be unstoppable.